There's no second best. Take all your money, buy Bitcoin.
You can wake up every morning and say GM.
GM. Monday, the 19th of August. Daily levels. Let's go. So, how did the weekly candles close? We had... Here we go. So, weeklies closed with a inside week confirmed. So, did not go higher than previous week, did not go lower. And closing below the weekly bands. So, in between the 50-week EMA and the 12-21 bands. So, basically just trapped in a compression for now. And until it loses 58, it's okay. But the market is distributing lower and lower and lower. So when you see it each week that goes by, you know, we're having these sideways weeks trading below 61k, which for March until July, in between March and July, we didn't have a single week that closed below 61.5, right? Then we had the first one, obviously, at the start of July. And now we are actually consistently trading there. So if you take this onto the other chart, just to highlight, I mean, it's pretty obvious here that the market is weak when you view it this way, right? So we have that. Take this off. Take a couple of these. I'll go to a lower time frame and see. Do we need any of this? Yeah, that's that path I mentioned. If you're looking at it, you want to see it losing that level, showing weakness to break down lower. I think if Bitcoin goes below 58, it should go to 55.3. But where are we now? This is Sunday, going into Monday. Yeah, so, well, sideways, yeah. We have had an upwards movement, actually. Dumping hard into the close on Sunday is a definite sign of weakness and something that is you want to take note of. It's actually not often that we dump down into dump right into Sunday's close. And I guess the S&P probably, did it open flat or down? You zoom in, opened pretty much, slightly down. Gold, opening, no, not much. Gold pretty similar, sideways. So Bitcoin continuing to be weak, really. Now, let me take this off, and we'll look at these weekly candles. So, the main value area was over here. Obviously, it was from 61.5 roughly to about 70, 69.5, 70k. And the most important thing here is, when that was all distributing and forming, we had 2 weeks that closed below, right? This week, then back above, and then 1 week, 2 week, 3 weeks, and we're on to the 4th week. So, as you see there, and then we put it back on, the market is getting weaker. There is no other way to view it, really, than this is distributing at lower and lower prices, and each bounce is unable to rise as high, which is how we're getting these, series of lower lows and lower highs. And, a lot of times it's, it's easy to just think, oh, well, it's going to go higher, it's going to go to here, it's going to go there. Honestly, a lot of it's just wishful thinking, though, right? You just call a spade a spade. This is a weak chart, weak market. And I will be looking for shorts almost exclusively. Now, at the moment, I'm not so sure, because I think that even if there is going to be a move down, it can squeeze up first, like it does many times. But I don't think that's going to happen. So it might be one of those cases where if I want to take a trade, like if I actually want to take a short trade, I would need to see a move up for talking about a swing trade. Day trades, that's all, day trades are fine. You just take day trades in either direction anyway. But if you want to take a swing trade short, I would need to see much more of a move up. Because getting short here, you'd have to put your stop loss at 63 if it's a swing. There's nowhere in there, there's nowhere in between that is more viable. Like, you can't put it here. That'll get touched off super easy. So you put it there, and then that's basically a poor risk reward, not a great return. And I think patience is better. I think the market is going to squeeze higher at some point to offer better setups if it is going to be short. And if it doesn't, which it might not, it's probably going to do the same thing where there's just weakness, right? And it rolls over and you don't get any bounces, and we drop back down until there's a retest till the market finds some kind of strength below. Which, I don't really see it just yet. And that was the point, like sort of like what I said on Weekly Outlook, where a lot of the bull cases are just based on hope. There's always a reason, but it's like, well, it should go up because it's down too much. It's kind of like where we're at, right? It's down a lot. It should go up. It's like, well, it's not really that solid. You have to consider, where are the big catalysts? Election / policy shift. And neither of those, neither of those are close. Don't see Trump winning soon. Obviously soon, it's in November. I don't see Trump's odds lengthening or shortening. I think that's about where we're at now, 50-50. And I think that's going to be it. So we're probably in for a bit more of a dead market, I think. And that probably leads to some kind of further chop where it doesn't break down, it doesn't move higher significantly, as I don't think the market has I don't think there is a clear level yet. And for many of these, like you look at these altcoins, they don't seem to be finished yet with their bottoming processes, right? Many of them, not Nvidia, it's not a coins, it's stock, right? Many of these are, getting to a point. BitTensor's trying to, probably better than most. WorldCoin, just brutal. It's an example of all the complete trash, low float, high FTV coins. AKT, I think it wants to go that inefficiency down there at 113, but it's not. It's not going to go like that, right? I don't think anyway. It's probably going to go down and sideways if it's going to reach down there, and that is kind of like, if you're looking at, and the reason I'm looking through the alts is that when you see this kind of, you see many of these structures that need to do at least that. It's just how I would assume these moves to happen. Helium's actually like a exception. So when I see that, and I look at so many of these that seem like they need to either make a new low or retest the lows, and Celestia probably wants to go right back to where it started from back in November, which again would be like probably bounces first, right, and doesn't just go straight there. And I think when you then look at Bitcoin, you're like, okay, well, something similar is probably going to happen. Drops down, bounce up, and then we'll see from there. That would be, for now, that would be my current expectation if we lose 58. So even though the market seems weak, Bitcoin is still holding that pivot at 58. And so when you zoom in, we continue to hold that Feb 21 pivot. And until that happens, 58 support. Doesn't have to look good. Doesn't have to be somewhere that you necessarily even get long. But it is holding for now. So if we lose that level, that's when I would be looking at 53. First stop 55, then down to 53. That'd be sort of what I'm what I'm looking at here. And that's it. The other thing, obviously, we dumped down into Sunday close. Monday, very small movement so far. New week, new weekly candle, new day, new daily candle, and not much movement yet. So generally, you want to let Monday play out before you take any higher time frame positions or just any positions in general. If you're a day trader or even a multi-day swing. Taking higher time frame positions, if you have a signal or reason, sure. Also, last thing, that's right, there was something else that was on mine. I think that day traders, I'm starting to see a lot more of it. I'm seeing a lot more short-term mindsets. I'm seeing a lot more scalping, day trading. Not in the chats. The chats are always, there's always a good mixture of you guys. But when I look on Twitter, I see more, at least there's more engagement around day trading, whether it's a thread or whether it's a video. And I think that's going to be potentially a sign that day trading is not going to be as lucrative. There's a couple of ways that can go. It can either mean that we're going to move away from the short-term mindset, short-term market, and go back to trending, or it means volatility dies and we get like one of these brutal phases where it's kind of like a little bit like this, where you've got like, excluding that one day, you've got just a bunch of nothingness. So we'll see. For now, conditions are still decent, but you have to remember, if you understand why do day traders, why is there good volatility, why does the market move? Because people have belief. The only reason that the conditions are still so good for trading is because people actually will buy. They'll buy the dip. They'll buy because they think the bull market's still going. If we reach a point where people start to question that, that's when you can see the market dry up a little bit. And it's important to keep an eye on that, because you don't want to overtrade if there isn't opportunity. You want to save your bullets and be patient. So, GM, 2 streams today, 4 p.m., 6 p.m. Ask Michael and Mentorship Monday for the Blue Belts. See you then. GM, GM, GM.